Hello, friends. Welcome back to Movie Mates with Tyrone and Miss Jamie Lee up in the front row. Today we have a special guest with us, Mr. Taco. How are you, friends?
Welcome to the show. Fantastic. Thank you for having me. I'm excited. I don't know anyone else who is talking about Succession, and I watched it since episode 1 when it first came out. So when Jamie Lee's like, oh, Tyrone, he's watching the show I'm never going to watch and I don't care about and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what is it?
Oh my God,
She's
right,
like, Succession. Yeah. I'm like, can I really? Can you watch it so you can get onto that show and then bring me onto that show, please? So it was my scheme. I got her to binge it so I could talk to you about Succession.
God bless you, because listen, I've been talking about this show for years.
As soon
as I met Jamie Lee, I'm pretty sure I was like, Succession. She's like, oh, will you shut the fuck up? Because it's either Succession or One Piece, I'm telling her, back and forth.
I know about your whole One Piece thing. I've watched enough of your guys' talk to know about the One Piece thing.
Yeah.
I just hate it when she's like, oh, I didn't got nothing to watch. I'm like, Sopranos, The Wire, Succession. What are you talking about, man? There's plenty to watch.
Totally.
It's all HBO.
There is just so much. But enough making fun of Jamie Lee. For
do I just back out now or?
Nope.
Yeah. Well, plenty of time to do that.
Love each other, cool vibe.
Yeah, we're gonna bro it out for the next hour here.
You were just setting us up. She's never actually watched Succession. It was all.
No, right.
You can call me Hitch, guys. You can call me Hitch.
All right, so first we got a little comment here from Movie Lovers. I haven't seen the show, but I wanted to show my support. Thank you.
That's the most Movie Lovers Unite is. I'm here for you guys. What's Succession?
Love it. Appreciate
How he
that.
is.
And then
nicest guy ever.
Lee saying thank you, which is very kind of her. But as the title says, so today we're gonna be talking about Succession, episode 7 a little bit. Get our thoughts on that, and then we're going to take a look at the episode 8 preview, and then kind of get into theories, predictions, and just talk generally about the show. Just to give everyone's background, so I started watching Succession when it first dropped, and I've been hooked ever since. How about you, Taco?
The same. I'm an avid HBO watcher, and if something takes the fabled Sunday night spot, I'm usually going to watch it, and that got me goods like Barry, Crashing, of course, Game of Thrones. Euphoria, of course. So there's a lot. Of course, Euphoria. How did I forget Euphoria? So there is just so much really good that happens on Sunday nights on HBO.
Totally.
So I watched Succession when it first came out, and I went through the whole season like, is anyone going to talk about this? And then season 2 started up, and then everyone's like, the best show on television, no one's talking about it. I'm like, well, start talking about it.
Right, yeah. I feel the same way. I feel the same way about there's so many little shows like that on HBO Max or just Apple TV. There's the show called For All Mankind, where I'm like, how aren't there just a billion YouTube channels about this show? Because I'm totally like you, where I like to dive into it, but it seems like you are a super Succession fan, so I'm excited to have this conversation with you today.
I'm really happy to talk about Succession. I only hear people talk about it. So.
And what about you, Miss Jamie Lee? When did you start watching Succession?
Well, I think we all know that I'm very late to the party, and I showed up a month ago. Tyrone, you've been talking about it for a year. Taco recently was the same thing, and I was like, yeah, right, 2 people, I should probably start doing it. And then I got an early screener to season 4, and I was like, wow, maybe this is something that I should really jump on board of. And I jumped on board and I loved it. And then I found out it was the last season, and I'm like, oh man, I'm really late to the party. So yeah, I love it, but I'm very late.
I think it was about episode 4 when you got caught up, or 4 or 5, because episode 3 already came out. And
I know episode 3 had, because you were like, that was the best episode, and I hadn't
peak
started
cinema.
Yet.
I mean, just
Has it stopped peaking though? It's like plateauing.
I know. No, I just think really the contrast and dynamics of episode 3. It was just. I mean, I watch I'm similar to you. I watch a super range from anything from Gossip Girl to, like you said, The Sopranos or whatever. I felt like, wow, that episode 3 was totally a staple, and that was the Emmy episode. That was totally the Emmy episode.
I think it's gonna change how television handles grief in a completely different way. Just like how Euphoria is changing how people look at addiction and things like that. I think episode 3 is going to change how people film death as not always being sensational, but about filming the grief of the other people. And that was extremely amazing and powerful. And I was absolutely blown away. Episode 3, Connor's wedding. That's all.
Yeah,
episode
right. So episode 7, we get Elon Musk. Mattson, who comes in to the
Elon
show,
Mattson.
and he's crashing this election eve sort of party thing where everyone in DC is here, and regulators, and Kendall and the fam, which Shiv, how dare you? But it seems like Kendall and Roman are trying to get Mattson to kind of trip up on himself, make sure the regulators find out, and Shiv is like playing both sides, man.
Fredo, she's going against the family. You never go against the family.
Couldn't believe it. But so we set this whole party up with drama, and you're starting to learn more about Mattson's company, and also you got Tom and Shiv dealing with their personal relationship. Seems like maybe things are turning around for the better. We know she's pregnant. It's crazy. But yeah, what were your thoughts on episode 7? Either of you?
I'll never shut up, so let's let Jamie go first.
Okay. One of my favorite things was the broken relationship. So there was 3 I took main fights, and I took it as like Logan broke them all when it comes to love. So I truly believe that Kendall did love, is it Rava? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Rava.
His wife,
yep.
ex-wife?
Yeah.
I truly believe that Ken loved her. I truly believe that Roman has something for Jerry, whether it's it's purely sexual or not. He vouched for her a lot of times, and I truly think that he does care about her in some way. And then vice versa, Shiv and Tom, and all 3 of them had their like big fight scenes together. And yeah, that was probably my favorite part. I mean, all of them were different in their own way, and obviously the last one was highlight, but I liked that, they were all sort of breaking down when it comes to people that they care about, and they're all sort of being alone. They've always teamed up against each other, like sibling-wise, there's always been that dysfunction, but they always had someone to sort of rely on. Ken always went to Rava when there was an issue. Shiv always confided in Tom. And now it seems like they're alone in their little schemes.
I think it's important too to remember that like their perception of love and how you handle things, it's way off because of how their father did, right? So like you see Kendall with his long-term friend there who works in Congress, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy you and roast you. And he's like, listen, Ken, that intimidation thing, that's not gonna work. You're not your dad. And like I think he feels like, and it's sort of like that's the old way, right, of doing things, and like that's the old like traditional sort of style. And I think what the show is also sort of showing is that when there's that transition, people are like, we're not gonna kind of be treated the same way. Like we had to be treated that way because he was the boss, right? And like that was how things were. But now that there's this new generation coming in, that's not how we want to handle this, or we won't be working here. And you see that as you mentioned, Jamie Lee, across those different relationships.
You both hit on something. I didn't actually connect those 3 fights as it being the three kids all had a fight with a significant other or an Oedipus Rex complex, whatever you want to call Roman and Jerry is. Maybe
they weren't. Maybe that wasn't like a thing, but that's how I took it as.
No, it's definitely a thing. I think it's absolutely a thing, but it's it's not a healthy thing. It wasn't like he had a healthy relationship. It was because of his abandonment issues from his mom and his hatred towards his dad. He wants to, kill his dad and bang his mom and blind his eyes like the old Oedipus Rex thing. It's all Freudian, and he's literally a walking complex. I'm sure, psych kids are going to study Roman at one point, like because he's like right up for that. But and then I also like what you were saying of the still being his dad and the fear and gravitas that Logan had isn't passed down to a CEO. He didn't have that because he was the CEO. He had that because he was Logan Roy, and these guys, just because they have the crown doesn't make them the vicious pit bull monster that is Logan Roy, but I love the episode. I think also a lot of the highlights, of course, Tom and Shiv, 1000%. I'm not sure. Yeah. And then, that fight on the balcony, which I'm sure we'll talk about. I don't need to talk about it right now. Then I did like how, even though the 3 kids are united, she's already going Fredo on them. She is not even pretending anymore. Like, they're all watching her in the room as she was told not to bring him to the important people, and she brings him right to all the important people, and they're all watching like, okay, what that, like, it's not even a secret anymore, and it's the blatant betrayal. And then when she finds out that she's doing it for possibly no reason, and that first, even before the India thing, which, by the way, there isn't 2 Indias, there's just 1 India, so he's kind of
just to clear that up.
Totally,
just to clear that up. Before that, she goes, "Hey, I'm effing my family over. Can we talk hard numbers? What am I getting here? Like, I'm not destroying my family for a reason." And he goes, "Can we circle back?" It's like, fuck off. Like, no, you can't say that. Like, imagine if you're like flirting with a girl outside your wife, and you're like, "Hey, I'm about to leave my wife for you," and she's like, "Well, I'm not really into commitment right now." It's like, "Well, what do you know?" And that's exactly. And
to me, that was a moment where I was like, Mattson showed his cards. I was like, like, he had the upper hand. I think he sort of
playing shit
hard,
he knew
and then
exactly what he was doing.
totally playing her. And I think that he obviously knows he's a fraud, but like, I think his perception wasn't that he was a fraud. I don't think people knew that. I don't think, and even the way he talked to Roman and Kendall was sort of like from a position of, "Hey, I'm in control and power."
He's that,
and
yes,
and but then he screwed it up by sort of mixing pleasure and work a little bit, right? Because
did he screw it up? Or are these little seeds that are planted? Because you think back, Roman was dismissed by Logan, and they had a private conversation. Like, Roman, fuck off. I want to talk to this guy who means business. Sure. Logan talked to him about something. We don't know what that something is.
It's about selling the company.
Yeah, but it was, I don't know. That I just got a feeling that even though Mattson's...
You think he has more weapons, is what you're saying?
I think so. Because Ebba was way too quick to say, his
also, Ebba
mistake.
Ebba was distant to Roman, but not Kendall. And Roman's like, "So what's up?" She's like, "Back off." Like,
right. Like, and I think it's because she knows.
Well, I bet she knows about the pics. By the way, did you get those pics I sent you, Tyrone? So,
I did, actually.
But
Tyrone asked me for a...
I don't want to get censored.
All right. But also, a fun thing about Ebba. So she spills the beans about India, and then they have that very public fight. Not Tom and Shiv's fight, but that, because that wasn't public. But
Mattson and
Kendall and Mattson, And he goes, "So what about India?" She's smiling before he says that. She's like, "Ooh, look at this little Ebba is." She's kind of, we see her in the background, she's smiling, and then he brings up India, and she immediately goes, like,
"Oh, shite.
Come on, what?" But also,
I did mention that,
they're not in the wrong. She's in the wrong. You don't go tell those two any ammo. She, as the comms officer, she should know that
she held back, though. She held back on...
She did hold back, but you shouldn't give a weapon at all.
No, that's why I think it's sus. I think there's something going on. I think he's planned for all this.
You got to remember, nothing is like a scorned woman, okay? And these two had a relationship. Ebba,
a weird one.
Ebba and... Ebba and
did you get that brick of blood I sent too, Tyrone?
Blood. Actually, funny enough, because I'm all thirsty, so thank you for that. So, Twilight reboot's coming out, so I'm just trying to.
I thought you were sparkly.
No, but seriously, like, I think you got to remember that, like, they have that toxic, weird relationship. She already hates him. She wants to get back at him. She doesn't want to be at the party, I'm pretty sure she says. So, like, she's I think at this point, it's just like, you know what? Is this guy, like, is he going to fire me? Or is he going to stick me around? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I want to give Kendall and Roman the upper hand. But I do understand where you're coming from, Jamie Lee, where you're like, it could be a trap. But I think if we had another season, I would maybe potentially...
Yeah, that was another thing. We got 2 episodes or 3 episodes left. We have the election. We have to finish the deal. And we have to conclude this, which doesn't... I don't know how. Like,
I think that we'll get into conclusions in a bit. of the show predictions. But one thing I was curious about that we haven't mentioned yet is Connor. So I predicted like episode 1 or 2 that I was like, I think it's possible. It may be crazy, and I would love it, that Connor may be like that like sleeper in the election that like either steals votes or rallies people at the last second.
He's gonna ruin it.
Because you have to get 257 or whatever it is, right? 256.
The majority. Of electoral.
And so I think Connor might, because I think Connor might somehow rally enough delegates where like it screws it up or something, and like that creates some chaos.
I can't believe I'm gonna pull this, but are you talking about the John Quincy Adams, how he got president over Andrew Jackson, even though Andrew Jackson got enough, he didn't get over 50, so it went to Congress, and then John Quincy Adams like flipped everybody in Congress and he got it? That would be insane.
I mean, it is insane, but I would love that, because I think there's something about Connor's character that I have always found sort of appealing, even though he's sort of evil too, is that like
Connor's definitely evil. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, people forget that. But like, I think that Connor is this character that you're like, oh, he's the fool, he's running around, but like he's still a Roy, he's still in a position of power, he still is manipulating people. So I do think that there's a possibility. What do you guys think about that potentially, Connor?
I just want to say Alan Ruck as Connor is probably one of my favorite performances like in the whole show. Like he hasn't had one of those like crazy scenes like Roman on the mountaintop or what they just had on the balcony, but even those little things like for the good of the union, and he's like like okay. Like just those little reactions he does are so
it's
good.
also little moments too where it's just like it's almost like he's not in the same room, where it's like they're talking about something super serious and he goes, hey guys, like what do you think about Dad? Like should we dress him in green or blue? And Kendall's
I visited Dad again today.
Yeah. He woke up on the right side of the coffin today.
I woke up on the right side.
I died when Kendall was like
I do love everyone's crying and they're all telling and they forget to tell Connor about Logan, and then finally they go tell Connor and he just goes, he never loved me.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, what do you think is gonna happen with Connor? I kind of stole that from you.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with any of them, because I constantly change my mind. Like, I'm like, it's got to be all or none, you know, like they either all run the company or none of them run it and someone takes over, and then I really don't know. And I've been so back and forth about who is not qualified, but what's the word I'm looking for? Capable.
Who's the right person for it?
Yeah, none of them.
None of them, and it's ironic because in grooming them for the job, their dad ruined them so they could never do the job.
Correct.
And that's what we call emotional abuse.
Yes.
That's why just because it's not physical, just because it's not one of the other ones, it will still ruin you forever.
Taco, before you answer... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jimmy Lee.
I was just about to say, if anyone could run it just out of like a surprise attack or that sort of, what did you call it, the up and coming person who's sort of been in the background.
The dark horse.
Yeah, like a dark horse thing. If anyone, I would think someone like Tom or Greg. I wouldn't think.
I don't think it would be Greg. I think Greg would be a perfect number 2.
Greg would not be good at all, except after the last one. I was like, what?
He's a really good soldier because he will do anything, and he is loyal to gaining up, and that's actually exactly. Well, as long as you have the power, he's loyal to you. He's a great soldier. Like he will go and get 100 heads for you.
I love the little detail, and I think depending on who you are, you have a different perception. But Logan writing Greg ? on the will, right? I think that could be sort of like chopped up to like,
is that his name?
Like, is that his name? But I think it's also like what you mentioned. He's a loyal soldier. He's the only one who was like, hey, screw you. grandpa, basically, you know, like when they had that, and like that's what Logan likes. So he's like this kid is screwing at my parties. He was the only one willing to fire her. You know, I think he sees there's a fire in Greg. I think it's not necessarily fire, but it's an ambition, and I think that's what he sort of saw. I know we'll never find out, but I think when the writers add little things like that of like, I wonder. I think that's what makes the writing so amazing on this show too.
Well, I think Greg was right. So that logically, that means I should be the number 2, right? And they're like, what? How's that logical?
Right.
Man, I love Greg. I think that he's been one of the best Machiavellian players, one of the best players of the game since episode 1. When or is it episode 2, when he has to choose to either go and get like files or not bring the files back to them when they're waiting in the hospital. He then had to decide, who's more powerful, Roman or Shiv? Roman wants me to grab this like will or whatever. Shiv told me to leave it. And even then he was staring at it and he made the conscious decision to forget it. He was playing the game in day 1. He knew what he was doing.
And he's had his feet in like every single pond, you know, like every single
all the big turnarounds.
Yeah.
All the big flips. And he always picks the right horse too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like how he tells Tom, he's like, actually I'm gonna side with Kendall and the guys on this.
Kenroy.
Kenroy, that was it.
And even when they were in like Sweden too, like he comes up and he's like, hey, like I'll do whatever you ask me. Like I'm game. Cousins, right? And then they're like, yeah, okay.
It was the quintet. What was he calling them? The 5?
Yeah, exactly.
It was great.
But so what I was gonna say is, so Jamie Lee, I'm curious.
The quad. That was it.
You've binged the show, whereas like there are some memories from me since it's been a while since I've seen season 1, 2. As you have like binged through it, like, do you have someone who you think like, I think they're the person who was going to end up, you know, on top? Is there someone that sort of like, you're like, they were kind of leaning towards it in season 1, 2, 3 that maybe we've forgotten about?
Yeah. Well, not forgotten. He's always been the highlight, and it's obviously been Ken. But I was hoping that when he had that accident, and after that scene, that he would sort of turn his life around. And, you know, when his dad put him in the rehab, I was like, yes, this is the arc that, you know, he's going to come out the successor or whatever. And then he sort of just fell into his old traps. And it seems like when he hits the height of his power, he crumbles.
Yeah.
And that's not what a leader should be. He throws all this shit around about numbers and we could do this idea and throws all these ideas out and nothing works. Like, look at the freaking clouds. He couldn't even make clouds happy. He wasn't even happy with the clouds.
Look at the beginning of this episode when she's like, hey, you got to call your daughter. And he's like, I'm taking care of 6 continents right now. It's like,
right.
You couldn't squeeze in Antarctica? Huh? Jeez. Get your act together.
I think the appropriate phrase is that Kendall drowns, because it seems that every episode he's in water drowning.
His own ego.
You know.
Yeah, water is a huge motif, not only because what happened to the busboy he wasn't a busboy, the server at Shiv's wedding, but literally there's a scene of his head just going off the water and her mama's drowning. And then after his big win, was it episode 4 when he celebrates by going into the ocean? Something's gonna happen with water. And water is a big deal for some reason.
Totally. And so and Jamie Lee, I think that, funny enough, that water scene, because that's something that they use a lot in television and film, is like you go into the water, you have that rebirth, and I feel like ever since that moment, Kendall's been making the right moves. He's been making the right decisions. He's had a couple hiccups where like he's made some emotional decisions where it's like, you're thinking like your dad. But when he decides to think like Kendall or himself, it has sort of worked in his favor. And now he's sort of proposing this idea of, Waystar acquiring what's the name? Gojo. Thank you. Yes. And even his presentation, everyone else is like, oh, this is ridiculous. But like, it's gonna boost the numbers. It's a strategy. It's a carrot to dangle. And even if they never actually hit those numbers or projections, I think that that's sort of what a leader does, in my opinion. Is a leader inspires. It gives people hope, even though they know things are tragic. Like Logan would always sort of look around at people and go like, oh, pathetic. This sucks. You don't know what you're doing. But then he goes up, he stands up, he goes, "We're gonna do this together. We're gonna do it the right way. This is gonna, and it's like beat you down to build you up kind of thing."
Mm-hmm. And there's something that Logan did, which is not good parenting, but it's good. It's good bossing. It's good. Is if you're going to be a rather aggressive boss, you have to, with your nuggets of crap, you have to give a nugget of gold. Right? Is if you're not doing well and I'm beating you down, and you're not doing well and I'm beating you down, and then you kill it. I can't beat you down. I need to notice that you killed it. And that's going to make you go, oh, well, then this is why he's so hard on me. I'm going to try even harder. And he did do that. Those episodes where he grabs Kendall and tells him he's his number one boy, and when he props Shiv up, and when he even props Roman up, like he's done it with all of them. But he also had this weird thing. Yeah, no, never Connor, but he did. He doesn't really count.
He took his bread. He took his bread.
He let him run in the election, right? He let him run in the election. That's his.
He tried to get him to quit. He told him to set up an idea. But also the thing that Logan did was whenever he propped you up and you felt good about yourself, he started to like get jealous of it and then knock you down. He was like, "Oh, why is this guy getting power?" He took him out. So yeah, he's a horrible person.
Yeah. So I was also curious of Tom and Shiv and their relationship. What do you all think about that? Because it appears that Shiv is pregnant. Yeah. And so and I kind of thought, hey, maybe things will turn around. But as you mentioned, like she's so irreparably damaged that like I just don't think it's possible for her to be with anyone at this point. Maybe after some healing, but at this current version of her is incapable of being, because she needs this sort of submissive version of Tom, and Tom is like, I mean, the balcony scene was so sad to me because I sort of got both sides, but both sides really just reeked and screamed of insecurity in a relationship. And I thought that, she said, "Tom, you only use me to climb the ladder." I don't think that, like, that may have been the case at some points in the relationship, but I also think it was sort of like, well, you're walking around joking about everyone that I'm getting fired. And I think that, when your father was here, you didn't even cut me into the deal. You didn't really have my back. And I think that from her perspective, right, perhaps that was sort of that yearly joke. It's like, oh, the boss's son-in-law, like, he's gonna get fired. And it's like, yeah, you're not gonna get fired. Your family, you're not gonna get fired, right? But like, it doesn't matter, because to Tom, the way he's internalizing it is like, I'm only here because I'm family, or I have no value, And so I thought that was a tough sort of scene, but it was interesting how there was balance from both sides, where you're like, I see both sides. But how did you both feel about that scene? Miss Jamie Lee?
That was the best scene, maybe, of the whole show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
feel like we say that every episode. Like, that's the best scene of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Something else topped it, but honestly, that was so good. And I was just I texted you, Tyrone. I was so glad that Tom just could finally let it out, like clear the air, I think they called it, and God could be clear it. Like everything that he wanted off his chest was off, and that felt good to me. I was really happy. And you say it was balanced, but I don't know, maybe it's the caring part of me, but I just think it was not. I think everything that Tom said was 100% spot on about Shiv. Like
No, go ahead.
Keep going.
I'm literally about to say the opposite, but I want to hear you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think everything that Tom said to Shiv was on point. And she said stuff like, "Oh, you're using me for my DNA," and stuff like that. I do not believe that is true at all. But, and I don't like Shiv in that balcony scene. I did not like Shiv. I was like, you are exactly that. You are selfish. You are this.
Yeah.
But I do, this is backtracking a little bit from the balcony scene, but I just want to throw in before I forget that I do see where Shiv is coming from with the Mattson, like trying to play both sides there, because if she is pregnant, which I'm still doubtful on that as well, if she is, like, she's trying to set herself up for her baby, because she knows her and Tom aren't a thing. In her heart, she knows that's not happening. So she wants to set herself up for her baby. And the only way to do that is to get the best amount of money, the best amount of power, and the best deal for her successor. So that's why she's playing her brothers.
That's
right.
So in the spin-offs,
before you hop in, Taco, I just want to say, Jamie Lee, I do agree with you, because I kind of thought both sides were they had some truth to it. I think the reason that we in particular feel maybe a little bit more empathy towards Tom personally is that I think Tom has grown and sort of he's grown a lot more than she has. I think he sort of has more self-awareness than she has, where it feels like Shiv is completely unable to like recognize her faults throughout what's going on. I mean, and I think that's why, as a viewer, I had a little bit more empathy towards Tom than her, and he's just gotten beaten up so much throughout the series as well. But
the one person who you shouldn't be beat up by is your partner. I don't care if they actually are attracted to each other or not. I don't care. You do not embarrass your partner like that. If you hate them, you do not do that in public. At home, sure, whatever goes on behind closed doors. But she did it to show off that, you know, he's nothing. He's just my handbag. Like, it was
even
just
behind closed doors, she was awful.
She was awful behind closed doors. But in public, like, that's just, it's unacceptable. It's so nasty. Yeah, it's just wrong.
And Taco, what's your
so much to unpack? There's so much to unpack here. So I got two things. For one, Shiv's awful. I'm gonna start there. So they had an agreement at the beginning of the episode, and it was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go and kind of pitch you to Mattson. Hey, we are
back on.
Back on." Yeah. She literally in one scene agreed, like. He says in front, like, they're like, "Oh, what about Tom?" And he's like, and then she's like,
right.
Like, literally, she doesn't defend Tom right there. And then when he goes, "So who gets it in the divorce?" She doesn't say we're back on, and Tom looks.
Right.
So, yeah, she's awful in that. Tom was tired, okay? He was tired from day one. They've been having too much bone sessions that they haven't slept, and he's tired, and he literally says it throughout the whole episode, "I want to go to bed." So I understand he's not in a good spot, but I do have to fact check him. When he goes, "You were okay with me going to prison," that's not accurate. Now, she even told him the only time she ever said, "Maybe you should give yourself up," she said, because it probably wouldn't go through and it would just make you look good, which is exactly what happened. And she only gave him that advice into season 3, not at the end of season 2, into season 3, when it looked like the deal looked like it wasn't going to happen. No one was going to end up going to jail. That's when she told him to go fall on the sword, and he did, and it helped. She literally went right up to Logan and said, "It can be anyone and not Tom." She said that to Logan. Lots of things happened in that interaction. Logan lost faith in Shiv because she was no longer a killer. But what she did do was save her husband. He might not know that, right? Correct. Maybe he wasn't in that scene.
Correct.
But I do have to state, she didn't want to throw him into jail. She has tried to protect him. But everything you guys said is also true.
But why did she not want him to go to jail? How embarrassing would that look on her part?
Yeah,
that's
probably.
The reason why she didn't want it.
Yeah, probably. You're right.
She only cares about herself. She only thinks about herself, and that's right.
Absolutely.
And I agree. And Jamie Lee, I agree. And I think that, like, you know, to Taco, to your point, like, he wasn't in that room, and he has to be reassured. Second, as Jamie Lee said, it's just, there is a certain line with your partner you don't cross. When they were on that yacht, right? And I think it was may have been season 3.
End of season 2.
Season 2, thank you.
The season finale is season 2.
They're on the yacht.
My favorite
episode. I believe it was her who said, "How about Tom?" Right?
Yep. In front of everybody.
In front of everyone. And even though she may have said it just to appear tough, I mean, if your partner is throwing you to those sharks, it's like
you're skipping a scene. We're not doing this chronologically. We're doing this this Star Wars wise right now. But chronologically, there's the talk around. I know just because I watched it from the beginning doesn't mean I haven't rewatched it. I rewatch this series all the time. So
go ahead.
They're sitting around the table, and then she goes, "What about Tom?" She's doing that to appear like she's not biased towards Tom.
Correct.
And then they're sitting on the beach, and my other favorite Tom Shiv scene, "Oh, sure, I love you. I love this rock. Bye, rock." Right. You know, that amazing scene. And she goes, "I had to say it. I couldn't look like I was on your side." And she is completely right, because Logan would have smelled that. Logan would have. And then
Logan
she
would
had
smell
to
it anyways.
Yeah,
I think
well,
Logan would have smelled it anyways. The problem is
doing it anyways. Yeah,
I think that's the problem. Is that like it's like if she would have said nothing about Tom, right? And like I think it's just sort of like no one would have faulted her for because I think even doesn't Roman even say something like that? Like, but like I mean, it's no one's gonna fault you for not throwing your partner under the bus. But I think because she did, from Tom's perspective, that's what this is about, right? Tom's perspective. It's like even if your partner says I had to do this, blah blah, that doesn't mean Tom's still not hurting from that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And holding on to that. I think that's sort of the part that it's funny because like even to defend Shiv even remotely it feels just weird.
Yeah,
it's weird because like that's really the vibe of this show, right?
So I'm less defending her, and what I'm really trying to do is show the complexity of their relationship.
Sure.
She didn't screw him, and then he screwed her. It's just so much more than that, and there is this weird I'm going to stab you to protect you type stuff that constantly keeps happening. And it's not okay, and it's toxic. They should have never gotten together. They're a horrible relationship, period. And I mean, the scorpion joke at the beginning of the episode, oh, you're the scorpion that once I get you across the water, you're going to stab me and kill me or whatever. Like, whoa, like that. Imagine if you gave that to your spouse. If I gave a scorpion to my spouse and be like, because you're a scorpion, she would be like, okay, explain.
That to me, I rarely question the writing. Sometimes that to me felt like they missed a beat for me because I was like, I don't think that was in like as frustrated as Tom may have been with her. I don't think that Tom would have done that kind of thing. Like it felt a little off to me personally. I don't know about you all.
It's off. I think he's trying to make a joke. I think he wasn't frustrated. No, but he was trying to laugh off their betrayals. He's trying to go, ha ha ha. You remember how we tried to kill each other?
Yeah.
And it's such a.
But we're good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can try again and tell people we're trying again, right?
And then they send sexy texts to each other. But
that was so funny in the room.
Yeah, he's just doing this really important stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, you did." So
yeah, I paused it so I could read what they were texting too, and then he just goes and stands beside, like Greg sits down there to fire everybody, and he sits down there and straight away reads his.
See a lot of confusion in the chat. I'm getting a little wordy. Yes, you're all fired.
Oh my god!
I like how topical that is because there was that person who fired half their company over freaking a Twitch or a like a whatever, something like that, like exactly like that. Invited all these people and fired them all, and that happened like just a few months ago. Like it's so crazy that they got that in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
I can't believe that happens.
Google and all those companies, they let go. A lot of the tech companies, Microsoft, they let go
all at once. So like, what? I can't get a handshake from my superior. Like, come on, man.
Before we hop into episode. Sorry.
I'm sorry. We can't not talk about the line. The ending of the fight. Maybe you're somebody who shouldn't have children.
Yes.
That is one of the most important lines in this season.
Yes.
Because not only is she pregnant, but it's what she said to her mom, and her mom fired back at her.
Yeah.
And her mom said it about herself and then fired it at Shiv. Like, I should have just had kids. Maybe I shouldn't have been a mom. Just like you. And I couldn't think of the more of a knife stab you could say to your significant other. Like that is all for pain. Like
that was, to me, it was like, I mean, they were done, but then that was like, okay, this is all over now. And like,
now we just want to hurt you.
Yeah. Whatever happens after this is going to be just ugly, and I don't have your back and whatever. So like, I think that going forward to like Tom's relationship inside of the company does he, try to go for the brothers? Does he not? It seems like the brothers,
they won't want him, I don't think.
Yeah, it seems like the brothers aren't really interested. So he's got to find a way to kind of get himself in there in the Game of Thrones per se. But before we hop into episode 8, I just want to get really quick everyone's thoughts on Roman in this episode, in particular with Jerry. It seems as if he is sort of trying to reel Jerry back in, like, oh, come on, like, take a joke or what. And Jerry is like, again, as we mentioned at the start of the stream, if we're gonna have anything like going forward, we're not gonna do it the way that Logan did it. But like it's Burns because he's lost basically his mommy girlfriend, and also like he also has to think in the back of his head like, oh, I may have this case to deal with too. And I think that's why ultimately, and I think Kendall knew this, and Kendall's looking at both of them like, you guys are two fuck ups. You're just a mess, and you can't handle the situation right now. And Kendall has his sort of like dick measuring contest with Mattson there, but ultimately, I think he sort of gets the best of Mattson, does he not?
And Mattson looks like an asshole.
Like, yeah.
Sorry, am I allowed to say the AH word?
Yes, you are. Whenever Jamie Lee is on,
put that on a cup. Isn't that what he said?
The cursing on the Circle Cup goes all the way up.
I should have asked before we started, but I was like, I almost dropped a couple. I was like, wait, I didn't ask if I was allowed to swear.
No, my rule is
I'm on this channel, of course.
Yeah, exactly. I keep it PG until Jamie Lee is on for sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to be considered in her her crew. Like I don't sit with her at lunch, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. The popular girls, right? Yeah.
No, I don't sit with the popular.
No, he is.
I sit with the nerds.
I'm the cool one.
Sit with the goth kids.
But no, but what did you all think of that? Like, do you think Roman is just like, where do you see Roman from here with Jerry and just in general? Because Roman sort of looks like he's at rock bottom for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna have a blow up in this funeral episode. He's going to go off, I think.
And we don't know who's gonna talk yet. Like they haven't decided. It's like, well, whoever will.
I thought he
stepped up. Yeah, he stepped up to do it, but I think that's...
Roman did? Oh,
yeah,
man.
That's silly because we all know he's too emotional and he's too...
Yeah.
Oh, he did love his dad. I truly believe that he was...
He's probably the most shattered and broken and handling it the worst. Like, at least Shiv is, like, scheduling her grief. He's not. And the worst thing you can do is when you're grieving is not feel it. You cannot... Ignoring it doesn't work. You have to let the train run over you, or else you're never going to get right again. Ignoring your grief is just the worst thing you can do, and that's exactly what he's doing.
And I think Kendall had this sort of foreshadowed that as well when they were in that ski lift where he was like, dude, like you gotta, this is not the way to handle this. And then when Connor meets up with him, I think in the room, like I think to your point, Roman has not handled this at all. It's almost like his dad hasn't died.
He tried though. He tried. I don't know. There was a time with Jerry and he walked in and he's like, yeah, I'm really sad right now. And I don't know what she said that was smart ass, and she walked out.
Yeah.
Like, he really wants somebody to just fucking hug him. Just give him a hug.
It was misfortunate that he had just fired her.
Can we do the huggy thing?
Right.
I couldn't think of a best way, a best scenario for Jerry is your boss gives you blackmail and then fires you wrong. And you're like, cool, I can pretty much do whatever I want. Like that is the best case scenario for a boss to unrightfully
completely
fire
out of
you
the company and still get what you want.
Has been sending you blackmail for like
like
so
Jerry,
she's out. She can get out of the dumpster fire.
Jerry is 100% safe. Yeah, but all right,
I hope she's single because I have a huge crush on Jerry.
I think everyone
does. You and me both,
massive crush on Jerry.
But all right, let's take a look at episode 8 of season 4 of Secession's trailer here.
Okay, I can't hear quite much.
I can't hear it at all. I'm reading. Can you? Are we supposed to hear it? I can hear the music.
It was turned down.
All right. Let me make sure it's up enough. Can you hear this now?
Nope.
Oh, is it? The audio should be shared. Hold on 1 second. Share audio in the tab. Boom. Here we go. Can you hear this?
Information.
Yeah. Bottle of fire. Beautiful. All right. Let's go back. Take 2, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. We're watching Secession episode 8 of season 4. Let's go.
Information. It's like a bottle of fine wine. You save it for a special occasion, and then you smash someone's face in with it.
Love that line.
would be the most important election in our lifetime.
I feel sick.
Oh, why? It's fun. It's only spicy because if my team wins, they're gonna shoot your team.
Give me some sugar, man. Maybe everyone voted for me. We don't know. Schrodinger's Tom. This is crazy.
We all want to stop Mattson, right?
Must be counted. This is about the future of the country.
False flag.
You can't just say false flag every time you don't fucking agree with something.
Amazing. Oh boy. All right. So, we got a bit to unpack there, but the standout thing to me is Connor playing sleeper.
Yeah. But hey, Schrodinger's cat, just because we don't know who voted means that we don't know if everyone voted for him.
That is true. It seems like, Mattson saying this is crazy. Like, I think it's sort of like him looking at the American politics, because, like, I'm sure, Jamie Lee, you can answer for us, but when our presidential elections are going on, everyone's like, oh, this is a circus. Like, I was in England during the Trump-Hillary thing, and everyone was just like, Tyrone, is there any way that this guy's going to win? And I'm like, this is America. Anything is possible.
Anything can happen.
Anything is possible.
I didn't answer that question that way that day. I said, no, of course not. What do I know?
Yeah. And here we are 5-6 years later. But yeah, so I think that's an interesting thing to play with. But let's hypothetically say that Connor does play sleeper. What implications does that have for the company and just the show in general?
I think he's going to get offered more and more and more to back out, and I think he's going to get a nest egg. Or something. And I think Connor's going to have a good ending. He's going to have the wife he bought. He's going to have a good job in politics. I think
the American dream.
Yeah. I mean, he just he had that day off with Ferris Bueller 30 years ago, and now it's all paying off.
That's hilarious. What about you, Jamie Lee?
I said before, Connor's someone to me that I'm really not too sure about. I don't know. He's kind of already got his happy ending, like he gets what he wants without having to do anything. He's got his wife, as you said. Like he literally just gets everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if he might slide into this and win. I don't know.
I think it's possible that. So it seems that Roman is playing more for the conservative team here politically, and then Shiv is more for the liberal team here. And so I think that it's possible that Connor may go more on the Shiv side, because doesn't Roman have that huge blow up last episode where he's like, you're a joke, you're a freaking joke, no one takes you serious, and he's like, well, I know someone who does love me and care about me. And I thought that was really a nice moment too, because it's like when what's his wife's name? Excuse me, I can't remember. Willa. When Willa and Connor had that moment when the father died, it's sort of like, yes, I'm here for your money, but like, I'm also here for you. And it's like this is an acceptance of like, this is what our relationship is, this is our dynamic. And to me, that is all a relationship really is. It's like knowing where you stand, how you comfort each other, how you are like there for each other. And I think
cashing that giant check. Oh
yeah, exactly. And as Jamie Lee said, like,
come with my relationship. When does that come?
Well, we're not Willas. We're not lucky enough to be Willas.
Yeah,
I comfort my wife for free all the time. I get nothing out of it.
But I think as Jamie Lee said, he has his happy ending, and I think his little extra happy ending here is he's gonna get himself an ambassador role or something like that.
If Mencken wins, the other right wing guy has to win. The crazy. I don't want to, just because they say the NAZI word doesn't mean I will on your stream. But just if that guy wins, then I think he could possibly get something. But if he screws him over, he's creating a lot of enemies because he could, bust the election. He could take away enough votes that guy could have won. And I think that's where they're headed. Yeah.
Only 3 episodes left too, so it's just like, what can we do here? And what's your thoughts on our buddy Tom here? Like, it seems like he's talking about the documents and the dead bodies. What do we think is going to happen with that?
I think he's going to blow everything up. You take. He's in a dangerous place. You gave. He doesn't have any friends. A guy with no friends and nothing to lose, no love anymore. He's gonna blow the ship up somehow. He's gonna do something
full
very
Joker
different.
mode.
Oh yeah.
Does Tom know about the death of the waiter? Did Shiv ever tell him about that? I can't remember.
Not that we know about. That doesn't mean he didn't, but not that we know about.
Well, we
Because
do know
I
he
still
knows.
think that was swept under the rug a bit. Like, I expected someone like Marsha to come out of the woodworks and, blow. But I like her.
God,
I
liked her.
Marsha.
I liked Marsha. I didn't like how Marsha was handling that young lady, though. That rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no.
Well, you think the mistress can walk into Marsha's house? Come on, you're dreaming. Get out.
She worked hard for what she got there, so yeah, nobody's coming in and taking that.
I think they're both two sides of the same coin, personally.
Marsha and Tom? Yeah, no, totally.
Oh boy, and
can I shove a question back?
go ahead.
Yeah. You may. Yeah. Shove it.
Do you think that something will come of Ken's accident, that death? Do you think that will ever be brought up again, or just swept under the rug? It's done.
Honestly, I think it has resolved emotionally and bringing the family together at the end of season 3. Like, I don't want, as much as I love every season finale, I don't want that moment to be ruined by them now using that information that he shared to his siblings and his siblings comforting him. I don't want like Shiv to use it because it would kill that whole season 3 episode finale would like be killed for me, and I would hate it. So I hope not. I hope it's resolved. Was
it Carl or somebody knew about it? Like if they come out and tried to bring Kenny down that way, it would
not
be...
Carl, but the other. I can't remember the guy's name. He showed up to the wake on shorts. The Logan's best friend, his security guard. He knows about it.
Yeah, right. Which he wouldn't whistle though. I don't think.
No, I don't think he would.
He's loyal. He's a loyal servant, and that's why Logan loved him so much.
Best friends.
I mean. Yeah. It makes me think, just like, because we only have 3 episodes left, like, what is left? Like, I mean, what do you guys think we're gonna see left in this show? I want your craziest theories, and I want your most sane theories. What do we got?
Part of me still thinks Shiv isn't going to be pregnant. And I know that's a really hard thing for me to accept, specifically because I struggled with getting pregnant, as we know, but she tripped and fell in an episode, and I was like, why did they even put that in? Why did they show her falling like that? And then all this stuff with her not being... You can take that out, honey. All that stuff with her not... sorry about that.
Very good.
All the stuff
I love her.
with
She's adorable.
She'll come in later and say hello, Tyrone. Sorry. All the stuff with her to do with parenting and stuff like that. I just think like it would be... I don't know, a massive blow if she, but again, it's not enough time. If she, wasn't pregnant, and then, happy ending is that her and Tom do get together and do have a baby, not that this show does any
happy.
I know, and they shouldn't get a happy ending. I do think it's going to be like this complex ending like we've sort of seen throughout the whole thing, but I don't know, something in the back of my mind just keeps going back to that scene where Shiv fell down the stairs and they really like panned in on her falling, and I was like, why did you see that her falling when she...
I've never even thought about that twice. I've never connected that with the pregnancy. I hope nothing like that happened. I think that she needs to, like, the happiest ending for Shiv is to cash out and go and be a mom. And not...
the only way to do that is to be pregnant and have a baby. Like, that's her...
Yeah, if she is pregnant, I think she needs to cash out, do the opposite of what Logan did, and only love her family, her kid. And that's it. And I think Tom, like, make him pay support. Like, don't be toxic with him anymore. Like, or split the custody. I mean, I'm not saying make him pay, like, but don't get back together with him, because don't bring toxicity in. Don't love a company, just love your kid. And that's what but That's way too happy for this.
Yeah, and what event is going to happen for that to happen? Because I thought with Kendall's death thing, when the waiter died, I thought them all coming together and them comforting him in their own ways individually, because Roman was taking the piss out of it. I thought that was the moment where they're together again and everything's good and they can run their company. And then, sure enough, another controversial thing happens. They're fighting against each other. Yeah. It's like as soon as things are good, they break them just for fun.
Yeah,
and
just start.
It's like, if you do want Shiv to have that happy ending, and I want them all to have a happy ending, because that's just how I roll. But I know it's not going to happen. Yeah. I know it's not going to happen, and I just think, well, what massive event could make that happen? And I can't think of one. Not one thing that could.
I can.
What?
My tragic ending, which I hope doesn't happen, but
I have a crazy Hail Mary too.
So this story is the legacy hero story, meaning someone who's trying to fulfill the shoes of their parent or the expectations or whatever, right? And typically, there's two routes. You get the route where you go, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing and be happy. Sort of like what you just said about Shiv. Her goal was to have a child and like have her happiness, so she can't go that way.
Was it? Because that was
she didn't want to have a kid.
She didn't want to have a kid. She wanted power.
Okay. And she wanted to freeze a kid.
Yeah, that's what she wanted. When Tucker was just like, oh, you should split it and get custody. Well, who's going to get custody? Because Shiv's going to get all that, and Tom wanted it. So that's cruel.
It is cruel, but they are cruel people. I do think though that there is something to be said about like their original goals aren't their goals though. It's their father's goals.
The happy ending would be her realizing that the company doesn't matter.
Correct.
And that she loves herself and her kid.
Correct.
That's the happiest thing I could ever think.
Roman's goal, whether he realizes it or not, is family. Like he wants family. He wants that's why he craves a mommy. That's why he craves daddy's attention. And like why ultimately when the siblings are feuding, he's like, I kind of want to just have us all be together because he wants that, right? Kendall's goal is to have his own legacy and be his thing. It's repeated throughout the show over and over, but he kind of keeps getting pulled back into daddy's company. He has these moments where he tries to go against the father's company. He has these moments where he says, let's build our own company, right? Then he has a moment of maybe we can change how. So I think he is this like young, sort of hip, like I want to change how things are done, but he's so stuck on doing the way things that his dad is. And that, again, that's part of the hero's legacy. And I think you ultimately overcome and realize your own legacy, your own story. And that's how this show will end, in my opinion. The crazy, crazy ending that could happen, that I don't think will, Kendall dies.
All right. Can I launch off that?
Sure.
All right. You said give me your crazy theories.
Yep.
I don't like to play this game. Like I'm okay with a crazy theory, but I don't like to play predictions because I don't want to think about it. I just want to be amazed. I never try to go, oh, but who's the killer? I want to know who the killer is when they tell me. I never try to find out the twist. That's not me. But they bring up this O'Malley guys who like firebombed, but it was just two firecrackers, right? Yeah. I think a crazy right or left wing, just a far wing, one of the wings way out there, is going to come in and bust in and do a mass shooting and murder everybody.
That's very possible.
Except for Shiv, and then she's happy with her kid.
I
think that's the crazy.
American of you.
It is. That's
an American show.
Yeah, that's America though. So much of what we've seen has been a lot of like political tropes. It's been a lot of company tropes. It's been like the Silicon Tech Valley bros and like all that kind of thing. We haven't touched on that, and that would be extreme, which is why it is your Hail Mary, I'm sure.
I hope it doesn't end that way, but
same.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I feel like that going out, that's lighting your guitar on fire. That's Hendrix. That's okay, America.
Tragedy.
What do you think happens?
Yeah, I think if you have when you have an epic, an odyssey, a big story, you need a tragic ending, or you need, like I just said, you need the hero's journey to come to that end where they've decided their own path. So I think really those are the only two options you got. Is tragic.
I kind of hate all of these people. So
all of
much.
the options too.
Well, no, I don't hate all the options. Let them all die. But no, what I'm getting at is me being I work 50 hours a week in a factory. I don't have a huge thank you. I've worked for everything, grew up really poor, and I hate people like these people. and I don't really want any of them to be happy. I think that Kendall's a horrible person. I think Roman's a horrible person. I think Connor's a horrible person. I kind of want them all to. Wouldn't it be great if they all just worked at like a service industry job at the end of this? That's what I want. I want them to all become bartenders and servers and then live off tips. That's justice.
That's where they were going to go with Shiv, because didn't Tom say to her something like, we can go live in a caravan park or something like that? Like, I was like, why can't they? Like, get rid of this shit.
The point he was making is it's not about love, it's about money, and you're gonna scoff at me when I say that, but yeah, throw away all the money and still try to love me. He was owning her point when he goes, I love money, and then he's like, you think you're better than me? Then let's go move in a trailer park then.
Final thoughts here. Taco, I too came from what I would call nothing. Very, very low income, low class, everything. And I've worked my ass up. But I went to school, and I was lucky in one of those little lottery systems we have here in America, where I was going to school with people whose parents played for the Red Sox and owned fucking teams, And so seeing that two sides of the world, I would come home and kind of go, these people have no idea what is going on. But the thing is, in their world, it is their world, and it's what as they know. And I know that money sort of seems like it solves everything, but what I realized growing up was these people are so tragic and they're kind of doomed, because where we are resilient and we know how to like work through our own stuff typically, or when we we've reached the mountaintop, but we can also understand that we hit the bottom, how to work back up. These people don't know. So if they lose this company, that's why they're so attached to it. Because if they lose this company, their whole identity is gone.
I bet they still have millions of dollars, and they would still consider it living poor, of course.
It's about the power. They get off on the power.
I like that Tom wanted to paint a being poor picture, and he said a 3-star Italian, because that's like the poorest food he could think of.
Right.
We want to eat at a 3-star Italian. I love 3-star Italian. Salty marinara, yeah.
Like Carl and Frank and Jerry, all of them, they're all douchebags, low key. Like, when you think about it, they all have. They're all set. They're all good to go. Yeah. They're just greedy. And as you said, Jamie Lee, it's power. It's about power, and that's where it stems from. All right, final thoughts. Anyone got any final thoughts you want to throw in there? Or
I can't wait. I'm super, super happy that I got to finally talk about Succession where other humans could hear it. I got 2 people in this world to watch it, and that is somebody at my work, so I get to talk about it at work now, and it is Jamie and Jamie Lee. Now let me talk to Tyrone about it, and this is awesome. I'm really, really happy, and I can't wait to see these next 3 episodes. I am buzzing. This is one of the first times I got to watch a show from beginning to end when it was coming out that is this good, and it didn't start to suck after the 5th season like Game of Thrones. All right,
don't give me PTSD like that.
Yeah, sorry, I said the word. Oh, he said it.
Yes. But no, I appreciate you, Taco, for coming on. I'm on Instagram, same handle, The Circle Club, so we can always chat. I'd love for you all to come back next week and have the same conversation. I think that'd be fun. But, let me know what's going on, and let everyone know what you all have going on your channels.
Oh, I didn't know Jamie Lee wanted to do a final thought before we move into plugins.
Oh, I apologize. She's giving me the death stare. Ooh.
No, I'm giving you the love stare. It's all love. Always love.
I'm teasing you.
I think I've said throughout this whole thing, I don't really have any big things. I do want to see them all crumble, and I do want to see them all happy and rise to the top, but I can't see how that's going to happen in 3 episodes. We want Shiv to have that moment of realization. Maybe it's the fact that she loses the baby and then she realizes, shit, what I did want was family, and then goes on her own path solo and has her own baby. Did she freeze her eggs so she I don't want her to either, but I mean, whose baby is it at the end of the day? Is it Nate's? Is it the other guy she screwed? Is it the other guy? Sorry, but let's be realistic.
A random actor guy. It's Shiv's. That's all that's important.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Dads are of the 80s. No one.
Jamie Lee.
Oh, this is a battle we do not want to get into. Jamie Lee will win.
Jerry.
Yeah, I can't
Anyway.
wait. I can't wait to. We got 3 weeks. It's gonna be so good.
I love you. You're the best. Oh my god, you're the best. But what do you guys got going on your channels? I know you got something. Let me wrap this up with that. Oh, fuck.
Sure. Go Taco.
I am doing our Pokemon role-playing game that we just filmed last night, and we do a tabletop role-playing game in Kanto. I play a bug catcher. I just caught another bug. And we are doing episode 16 that comes out Friday. And on Saturday, I did a video for the 1990 Super Mario World from Super Nintendo. I took every single combatant. It was like 70-something and Mario, and did all of their Pokemon typings. I made Pokemon cards out of all of them. And I'm doing that video is filmed, and it's coming out Saturday. And it's only 35 minutes, which is really short for me. Yeah,
I've got to connect you with one of my best friends. His name is Yao. His channel is Jumping on Another Jet. He's pretty big on TikTok. He is all Pokemon, all Mario, anime, you name it. Like, you guys have got to link up, and I'm sure that'll be awesome. And I'll take a look at that.
Like Star Wars and Pokemon are my and Game of Thrones are my like I have a weird channel that I just do whatever I want. So
that's how you should do.
Very unconnected loves that get a lot of love. It's Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Pokemon.
Our phrase here at the Circle Club is just be you, and the reason why I always push that is because it's like, honestly, that's what people find interesting, is you just being yourself. Like it's the weirdest thing. You're on YouTube and you're like, hey, I like Euphoria, but I also like to collect Pokemon cards, and you're like, someone goes, oh my god, you're like me. You know what I mean?
You're
like,
the other Pokemon Euphoria guy?
Absolutely. So yeah, Jamie Lee, I'm sure you got something going on, some premiere, or you're talking to Chris Pratt, or what's going on in your world?
Training did you get this time? Big time. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm getting a divorce from my husband, and I'm marrying Chris Pratt, guys. There's the news.
Oh my god!
I did marry into money after all. No, I am interviewing a little girl who was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me rephrase that. I have interviewed a girl who plays Lati in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So I'm editing that and popping that out. So that's really cool. And what else am I doing? Oh, and I'm going to do a Succession video just to say my own thoughts on my own channel, that I binged it, because I think I did it in like, what was it, Taco? Like less than a month? Like maybe 4
weeks? It was like 2 weeks.
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You started to watch it after like episode 2, and then you were done by episode 4.
Yeah.
I crammed.
I remember talking to you, and I was like, "Oh, you
proud."
can do it." Yeah.
Well, and you're like, "Hey, I'm starting to watch it," and you're like, "All right, I'm in season 1, and I have these really weird predictions." And I'm like, "Yeah, you'll figure things out." And you're like, "So finish the season 2 finale." I'm like, "Here we go, you're moving."
I'm not gonna lie though, Jamie Lee, I was a non-believer. I was like, "You're never gonna watch this show."
I know.
And I was just like, you know what? She's gonna miss it.
You've given up on me.
You're gonna miss the big moment, and when you miss the big moment, I'm just gonna go, hey.
You're welcome. Yeah.
That's why I always push One Piece. I'm not gonna get into One Piece right now, but
here we go.
Just saying, Taco, you too, buddy.
All right. Have you started The Walking Dead yet? Sorry, did I hear you say that? Or
wait, we were supposed to do that together. All
right. Save it for the green room, you two.
Anyway, that's what I've got coming up on my channel. Something from Succession, an interview with the little girl in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and then Fear the Walking Dead's coming out. So that's my new week-to-week review show that I'm going to do.
Like to hear that. All right, well, that is going to do it for us. Thank you if you're still watching. Make sure you guys comment, subscribe to everyone's channel. These two are the best. This was a great dynamic. I really hope that you guys want to come back and do this again, because I had a lot of fun talking about sessions. So, yeah, well, not everyone can be Taco Tuesday, all right? Sorry, buddy.
It is Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm quick. I told you, I'm a host.
You guys,
All right, thank you. All right, thank you guys for watching. And as we always say here, just be you. Peace.